Hello, Gemini. Welcome to your bonus reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. The Devil card, this is the engine of the car, right? This is your drive. This is your creative drive, your pleasure drive, your aggressive drive. This is that driving force within you that is pushing you up the hill, whatever you're doing it for. Whatever is up there that's making you want to climb this mountain, you're climbing it, okay? You're somebody with a lot of ambition. You're somebody who has a lot of endurance. Your path right now might feel like a lonely path. Okay, sometimes the mountain goat is up there all by themselves, which basically means that we have to drive ourselves, that we have to be our own best friend. We've got to be our own motivator. We've got to be our own motivational speaker. We've got to be our own teacher and trainer. We've got to be able to fuel our own fire here. Okay. I think whatever you're doing, I feel like you're getting pretty close to success, right? But I feel like the results kind of don't really matter. It's this: the goat just wants to climb. The engine doesn't care where the car is going. Just wants to drive. Just wants to have the high RPMs. Wants to rev that engine, you know. So this is that drive. This is that force that makes you feel like you just want to keep going. Sometimes we even forget about where we're going or why, you know. But it's just, it feels so good to be doing that, you know. We're putting in the work, and that is what seems to matter most in the moment. Again, it's kind of like the results don't matter. They do. But in that moment, we're not obsessing over the results. We're not just thinking, you know, eventually I'll have the money, I'll have the success, I'll have the job, eventually I'll get to the top of the mountain. I wonder what it's like on the summit. No, we're thinking, this is what I got to do now. I can't believe I'm here. Let's keep going. I'm tired, but every time I'm tired, I'm going to keep pushing one more step, one more step. And that goat is relentless, right? That goat is going to climb the mountain no matter what happens. Yeah. And of course, the GOAT is that acronym, the greatest of all time, right? Let's put this card into a little bit of context. Let's see what it is that you're doing, perhaps, or how or why or any other factors that may that may be at play here. Okay. Our next card, oh, there it is. There's the 6. I think the 6 of Pentacles is the summit of the mountain. Okay, this is material success. This is, you know, I think that sweet spot. That is the summit. And of course, when you're at the summit of the mountain, there's still more mountain. Whether we're going to go then down the mountain and we're going to just smooth sailing from here, we're just going to, you know, that's it. Or whether we want to make more mountain and keep climbing up, it's up to you, right? But this is that sweet spot. This is that perfection and that success, okay? And we got the Lover's card. There is your superpower card. That is the Lover's card. It rules the sign of Gemini, right? We've got the Knight of Pentacles, another Capricorn energy. Both of these are Capricorns. You might want to check out the Capricorn reading that we did. There is the world itself. And of course, we got the 2 of Wands. I don't see you stopping, you know. I see that once you get to the summit of the mountain, you're going to enjoy it because you know what? That's what you had the vision of. But I think it's giving you this sort of power. The achievement that you're about to make, right? This particular summit, particular peak that you're about to experience, it's not the end of the road. what it's doing, it's inspiring you, it's motivating you, it's reminding you of how powerful you are and what you're really capable of. The Two of Wands in the future position is dominion. It's kind of like this attitude, like I own this world, that you own your life and you own this mountain that you're on, and you can climb as high as you want to climb. And this is really that intense belief in yourself and that power that says the world is my oyster, right? The Two of Wands in the Pamela Coleman Smith tarot. Let's see if I can find it, because I want to show you the way that it depicts the wands, but also the world. Yeah, and I feel that it is it's a great representation of what that Two of Wands really is all about. If I can find the card here, that's probably going to be the very last card in the pack. Well, there was the three. It's in here somewhere. Sorry, this is probably not how you wanted to spend your tarot reading, is it? But I think it's important that we see that. And you probably know what I'm talking about, but if you don't, there it is. The Two of Wands, and that person's holding the world, right? You realize that I could have all of it. I could have everything. I could have anything I want. I could do anything I want. And the world, this is the World card. So the Two of Wands is really about you holding the world and thinking, I really can do this. I really can do anything. If you can do this Six of Pentacles, it seems to be a defining moment for you. It seems to be like that big win, that big jackpot in your life that's telling you you can have as many of those as you want. And now the goat, right? This is the one who thinks, wow, I really could be the goat. I really am the goat. And instead of staying here, fixed on the rampart here, this other wand is sort of fixed to the wall here. Instead of staying here and just being content and saying, okay, this is as far as I want to go, this person's looking at the world and thinking, I want more. I want to see what else is out there. If I was able to make it here, I wonder how far I really could go, right? It's kind of, and we could think about this in any context, in any kind of skill or sport or effort or endeavor, any kind of work, any kind of job, career, any kind of artistic projects. It doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing in life. What matters is that you're doing something. What matters is that you are pushing yourself to have these peak experiences and then asking yourself in that moment of that peak experience, am I capable of more? Or is this all I had? If this was all I had, if this is all you're capable of, Gemini, this is pretty darn good. Okay? But I think you're asking yourself, with the Two of Wands in the future position, you're asking yourself, am I capable of more? Maybe I'll just leave that one right there. Might as well. Am I capable of climbing a little bit further? You know, you say, okay, I'm telling this story every day now because I'm happy about it. I got a recumbent bike, found a cheap one, and so every day I say, I'm going to do 30 minutes. My goal is to ride that bike every day, 30 minutes. When I get to that 30 minutes, and that is a Six of Pentacles. That's a peak experience. That's a mission accomplished, right? A material success. I've done what I said I was going to do. I set my intention and I did it. But then, I'm at that 30 minutes and I'm riding the bike and I'm thinking, what if I went for 5 more minutes? Am I capable of doing 5 more minutes? Yeah. I'm exhausted. I'm sweating. My legs are hurting, but I could do another 30 seconds. I could do another minute or two, and that's kind of, we realize that if I was capable of 30 minutes, I'm capable of 31. If I'm capable of 31, I'm capable of an hour. Maybe not today, but eventually, And so we realize that with the Two of Wands, it's dominion. It's like I'm in control here. I can achieve whatever I want to achieve. I've just got to believe that I can do it. And I've got to have the will to say, I'm going to keep climbing. I'm going to do 31 minutes now on the bike. Even when my timer goes off, 30 minutes is up, I could just get done and, no, I'm just going to go 31 today. I'm going to do a little bit extra, Anyway, Gemini, if there's anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now we're going to do the rest of our cards here. Path of the Serpent, Princess of Wands, Knight of Wands. Well, yeah, of course, Seven of Pentacles, right? And the Chariot. So the fire seems to keep going, right? We're choosing to grow the fire. And I like that it's a princess to a knight, because this is the bottom of the hierarchy of elements. This is the very top, right? It goes princess, prince, queen, and then the knight. The knight is the full expression of the energy, right? And so in this way, the princess becomes the squire, becomes the page of wands, becomes the knight in training. So we're just starting out. We're kind of saying, okay, I'm going to push myself, but I'm going to do baby steps. I get to the summit of the mountain, I think, well, I could take one more step. And the Princess of Wands takes one more step. And then we say, oh, I could take one more. Pretty soon, we're up here with this Knight of Wands, and we realize that I can go 1,000 steps, 1,000,000 steps. I can go an infinite number of steps, because this is the infinite universe. This isn't just the world card. In the Thoth deck, it's called the universe. Right? It's opening up the landscape. It's not limited to just the terrestrial sphere, right? It's cosmic in scope. It's this belief that I can sail through space and time, with my will. That it maybe start out as I'm on the bike for 31 minutes, but eventually I could be on the bike for an infinite number of minutes. If I can do 1 minute, I can do 1,000,000 minutes. I can do a zillion, as many millions of minutes as I want. And that is the real buildup of this fire energy, this kind of raging fire that says, I don't even care about failure. And maybe the Seven of Pentacles is the most important card here, because it is the card of failure. I'm going to ride my bike until my legs literally fail. You know when you're at the gym and they say you're going to lift weights to failure? I'm always like, what does that mean? I get it now. You're doing it until literally the nerves are not sending the message to your muscle to move, and you can't do it. No matter how much willpower, you can't force yourself physiologically to do it, right? Failure, where it just won't work anymore. It's like the nerves and the muscles themselves quit, and there's nothing we can do about it. That's kind of the deal here, where I'm going to go 31 minutes, 32 minutes. I'm just going to bike until my legs literally won't work anymore. That's when you quit, when you're literally done, And it is knowing where that limit is. You push yourself to the point where you fail at something, anything. That's where you know your limit is. Okay, I've gotten right up to the edge of the universe. I've gotten right up to the edge of my personal world. And now next time, I'm going to go back, I'm going to do it again, and guess what? You're going to fail a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further, and your failures are going to be bigger and further out than anyone else's success. Okay? This is really something. This is a great card to have, but it's also the obstacle. It's in the position of the obstacle. It's in the position of what we don't want. Of course, I don't want failure. Of course, I don't want to be doing something and then not achieve my goal. What if I say I'm going to do 60 minutes on the bike, but I give up after 50 minutes or 45 or 10 minutes? Well, that's failure. Okay, well, at least I know what my limit is. Is that a limit? Is that a true failure? Is that a true limit to what I'm capable of? Just physically, my body just shuts down at that point? Or is that a failure of mind or a failure of heart? Right? Where's that failure coming from? So the failure teaches us the most about ourselves. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card. And we're just going to set it down over here with our very own Kelly Kapoor. We really should be using Belschnickel over here, but maybe we'll save Belschnickel when we get a little bit closer to the holidays here. We're not going to look at that card until the end, but if you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's take a look around the room. We do have some major arcana, right? Especially going up the mountain, vertically here on the vertical path, the central pillar of the path of the dove. Major, major, major. What does that lead to? The Chariot card. continual progress. It leads to someone now who is a warrior in a chariot, capable of doing anything, going anywhere, fighting for any cause, accomplishing anything that you have your devotion, your loyalty, your commitment to, your self-control. You're in full control of yourself and your chariot. Okay, the Chariot card is a card of discipline and self-control. It's a card of devotion and commitment and loyalty, right? And obedience. It's kind of like if I set my will on something, my heart, my mind, and my body are going to be obedient to my will and going to get it done. Okay? And that really is a knight. We're talking about the squire becoming a knight. And then the knight really becomes the warrior, becomes this sort of divine questing knight in the chariot, becomes the real, like, you know, I don't know, the head knight, the lead knight, I don't know what you call it. So I think that this is a wonderful outcome. This is the ability for you to do anything. If you have that commitment and you have that control over your mind, your heart, and your body, your will can direct you, right? Your will, your spirit, your soul, yourself, right? And going up this hill really is the way too. The Lover's card being the choice, the commitment, right? That we love something so much that we're marrying ourselves to it, and then we're doing the work, grinding away, climbing, and there's no end to how high we want to climb. And I don't care how old you are. You could be a teenager, you could be 120 years old, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to literally be something physical, right? I'm using the analogy because I'm trying to get more physically fit, so I'm on my bike. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're trying to do in life, whatever your work is, it could be something intellectual, it could be a family, it could be a artistic, creative, spiritual. It doesn't matter. It could be school. Whatever it is, you realize that there is no end, there's no limit to what you can accomplish and how high you can climb. Okay? And the goat represents that effort, whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual, physical effort, or all of those, right? And I think right now you're experiencing a big win. You're going to experience a really, I think, a very interesting jackpot, right? Because, look, majors, fire. Where's the water? Where's the air? Right? Not here. Strange. We've got earth, even these, the devil and the universe are earth cards. We got a little bit of water here, the Chariot, Cancer. We got a little bit of air here, the Lovers, Gemini. Right? So this is our heart and mind. Our mind, committed, focused. We're obsessed. There's nothing else I want. I'm married to this thing. I want this more than anything else in the world. And then, of course, the Cancer energy is kind of that satisfaction. It is that inner feeling of joy and satisfaction and fulfillment, right? That's contained within us because you are such a warrior, you know? So you have your heart and your mind, but everything else is just fire to earth. Fire to earth. Nothing is interfering. If we're failing, it's because that we have pushed ourselves to the absolute limit and it just is not physically possible to go any further. So then we come back to it again and we're buttoned up right against the edge of the universe and we keep pushing it further and further out. Infinitely, as far as you want to take it. Your heart and your mind are not where the failures are. In other words, you have the self-control, you have the discipline, you have the heart. So when you are pushing and you reach that limit that you can't push past and you fail at something, it's not because of your heart, it's not because of your mind. It's not because you don't want it, it's not because you don't have the discipline, it's because it's physically impossible to push any further. It's like you're lifting weights and sometimes our mind says, I'm tired, I'm going to quit. Okay, I'll put the weight back. But if you're really lifting to failure, you're lifting until your muscles just totally give up. And there's no willpower on earth that can overcome that physiology. Yeah. And that's true That's true failure in the right sense of the word. But it's not a failure of heart or mind. I think that you know what you're doing. I think that you love what you're doing and you're committed to it. You're obsessed with it. Yeah, you're going to experience failures and obstacles that you can't overcome. So, we're going to have to adapt and figure things out and get past that point. Every time you go back to it, you're pushing the ball a little bit further down. Okay? Without failure, there is no progress. We're just doing the same old thing, and we're dancing around the same old, ball field. We're not actually expanding anywhere. We're not actually doing anything, and that's part of what satisfies you in this Chariot energy, because the Chariot sometimes represents this little box that we keep ourselves in. It says, "Okay, I'm perfectly capable of doing anything I want within this particular area." But the real questing knight is going out and doing these unknown things, having these experiences, pushing the boundaries of life that no one else has done, no one else has experienced. You're at the cutting edge. You're at the very frontier of your life. And that's where the knight really becomes, a questing knight, right? A warrior in this, the chariot and the charioteer. Yeah. Beautiful energy. I love the fire and the earth too, because that is that spiritual electrical circuit of creation. Impulse to behavior, fire to earth, heaven to earth, above to below, will to action, inspiration to implementation, right? The only thing that interferes with that instantaneous creation is our human heart and mind. Okay? And you don't have that problem right now. You are basically, this is you being the very perfect magician. Okay? And that's the perfect magician is one that can channel that fire straight through to earth. There's nothing inside of us that's blocking anything. Right? That is just fire to earth straight through us. It's for coming from above. That divine energy goes right out into the world and takes effect and instant creation. That your will then manifests. And if it doesn't, when we experience the failure or something that doesn't quite happen the way we want it to happen, it's not because we did anything wrong. It's just because the conditions of the world, things beyond our control, need to change. They need to adapt to the energy that you're putting forth. In other words, and it could be your body, right? Something you did wrong, something out of your control. You can't control what your nerves and muscles necessarily are going to do. You can't control the physiology, right? It's something beyond your control, the way your body is going to, like when you're lifting weights, when your muscles fail, you can't control that, okay? We keep doing it, and we're causing that change slowly over time where, that point of failure is getting further and further out. And again, like this universe card is implying, there's no limit to that. Okay? So I think you're achieving something very significant right now. And it's sort of going to be a defining moment where you're going to have to ask yourself, is this all there is? Is this all I'm capable of? Is this all I want? Or can I keep going? Should I wake up tomorrow and try to do another one? Or should I try to do it bigger or better? Should I try to go another mile or another step? Should I keep climbing? Or am I cool here? Do I just want to kick it here at this level? Is this fine for me? By the looks of it, it's not fine for you, because you realize that you have this infinite potential. And if we ever reach this sort of peak, it becomes a plateau. Nobody likes plateaus, right? The view is good. The achievement's good. It's fine for a day or two. We've got to keep climbing, right? And this could really be a plateau where we experience some of this failure, and I'm having a difficult time getting past this plateau, but we're not giving up. We realize that, of course, it's possible. I'm doing everything I can to keep it going. I guess that's another question, too. Are we doing everything that we can to keep making the progress? You know, the Knight of Pentacles in the background here. This was the vision that you had of the mountain and of the peak. You were looking at this, and this, I mean, this is good, right? But we don't see any water cards, so I feel like you enjoy it, you like it, you want it, it's good, you're here. You're not satisfied with this. You're still hungry, you're still thirsty, you still want to keep going. You've got more in you, you know. But the Knight of Pentacles is looking at the future and is looking at the mountain, looking at the peak and thinking, okay, how am I going to do it? What do I got to do, right? And, well, you just start moving forward. Right? The thing about the Knight of Pentacles is that it could be looking at the future so long, it's not actually moving. The horse is just sitting here eating grass or wheat or whatever that is. And the Knight's not really doing anything, just kind of looking at that mountain and thinking, how am I going to do it? Well, we do it by doing it. We do it by starting the engine, climbing the mountain. Capricorn, Capricorn, both of these are Capricorn energies. I would watch the Capricorn reading if I were you. Maybe for a week or two, you know, just check out the Capricorn stuff as well, if you've got the time anyway, because I know you're busy, right? But this was the vision that you had. You had the vision of the peak, the goal, the success, and then you started climbing and you achieved that. Well, what do you got to do next? Well, you got to look at the goal again. The Knight of Pentacles has to look at the world and say, what is the next peak? Well, I don't know. There's no limit. There is no final destination. There is no final goal. There is no absolute summit. Okay, but what's the next peak? Right? Every time you get to a peak, you can look up and do it again and say, okay, what's the next one? If the Knight of Pentacles is looking into infinity, well, it's sort of paralyzing, right? And it makes sense that the horse and the rider are not going anywhere. Very different from over here. Horse and rider are charging into the future here. Because when we're looking into infinity, when we're looking at the infinite potential, we think, oh God, I don't even know what to do. I don't know what the goal is. The goal is this infinite thing. It's very abstract. It's very theoretical. I can't pinpoint it. I don't know what the mountain looks like or what the summit looks like, so how can I start moving? So we have to take this infinite potential and we have to chunk it into goals. Short-term goals even, this week, right? This week I'm going to try to maybe work my way up to a whole hour of exercise every day, right? Whether I do, 15 minutes in the morning and I try to do 45 in the evening. My goal is to hit an hour of exercise. If I got to run in place for 5 minutes to make up the last couple minutes, then I'll do it. We do something reasonable and something achievable. If we meet with failure, then we say, okay, well, that seems to be my limit. My legs just could not, I fall down. I can't even stand up. And it's obviously it's a physical failure, right? Or a physiological failure. And so we realize that, okay, this is probably a reasonable goal. I don't want to say, well, tomorrow I'll do an hour and a half. Well, I'm having trouble just doing an hour, so let me work my way up to that first, right? But maybe that feels like it's too long. Okay, well, maybe I did 30 minutes this week. Maybe next week I'll just do 31 minutes. I mean, that might be kind of wimpy, right? Maybe I'll do 40. Reasonable. Doesn't have to be an hour. It doesn't have to be 31 either. The point is that we're breaking these infinitely long-term goals, the infinitely high summit of the mountain, we're breaking it down into reasonable chunks. Whether that is a week at a time, a month at a time, or a year at a time is up to you, okay? And that, I think, is inspiring us over here with our fire energy. Because now the Knight of Pentacles isn't just looking at the goal and thinking, okay, what am I going to do? Now we're fired up, we're going, we know what to do. And this is win after win after win after win after win. And we don't have to always stop and sort of have that experience of the infinity of things and we're fixed on infinity and we're freaking out and then we start chunking the goals and we figure it out. No, now the Knight of Pentacles is saying, okay, or, sort of transforming into the Knight of Wands. Matter becomes energy, energy becomes matter, matter becomes energy, and we're just going back and forth. It's a cycle that you're on now, right? It's a cycle of win, win after win after win after win. Just because 6 days of the week we fail, that 7th day is going to be the win, and and then we say, okay, now I can do 32 minutes, or now I can do 40 or 45 or an hour, whatever it is. By the way, if you have not subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It is totally free, and it supports the channel, and I appreciate that. Your general energy is this Princess of Wands, and this is really, we're not stopping to think about anything. We reach a certain goal. I reached 30 minutes on the bike, and okay, right away the next day I'm into 31. I'm setting a timer to 35 now. I'm not going to stay the same, and I'm not going to fall back. And, eventually I could work my way up to bicycling for 24 hours straight if I really wanted to. I don't know that that's very practical. I don't know that if I want that so badly, right? Maybe it's reasonable for me to say, okay, an hour a day is what I'm going to spend on that, and that's sort of my goal. Anything more is going to be taking my time away from other things that I need to focus on, right? Because I don't think you're just a one-trick pony, right? No pun intended. I think that you have a lot of different things in life that you're trying to do. And I think this is the way that we approach everything. But we have to know what we care about the most, what means the most to us. And that's what we're putting in this effort for. But we're not spending a lot of time just sitting there and gazing up at this, infinite potential of the universe and feeling overwhelmed and kind of freaking out. We're just doing what we have to do. We're not, the thought and the feeling are not interfering with this fire to earth, earth to fire, the conversion of matter to energy, energy to matter. We're just going. We're just doing it. It becomes automatic. Okay? And it might be small, incremental gains at first. Okay? Maybe it's, I'm going to work my way up to an hour of exercise every day. Boom. I've got that done every day, an hour a day. It's routine. It's clockwork. So maybe I can't extend the time, but I can extend the intensity. Maybe I have to spend other hours filming tarot readings, taking care of my daughter, spending time with family, reading books, resting, eating, basic things, right? I can't devote any more time to the recumbent bicycle, but I can increase the intensity. I can make that hour more difficult, right? There's a little thing to change the resistance, on the bike. I can start ratcheting that up a little bit, week after week, day after day, and the same thing with these goals. So it's never a standstill. And the plateaus, they're going to happen. There's going to be like, well, I can't do an hour at that intensity. And I don't want to back off the hour now, so I'm going to back off. The intensity is going to have to be that failure. Right? And so we start sort of meeting with failure in that way. So we're always making progress. The potential is always going to be there. And we're just going to keep doing whatever we can do to climb a little further up the mountain. Okay, and I think that we're doing that in a lot of different places in our lives. We're doing that in our creativity, doing that in our work, whatever we do for money or, our financial situation, right? Doing that in our physical health, doing that in our other skills. Maybe you like to cook, maybe you're trying to read, maybe you're saying, okay, I have a certain amount of time that I want to read every day. And we look at that as these 6 of Pentacles goals, right? And I can read as many books as I want in life. I could read everything. I'm capable of reading, right? And comprehending. And so we just take it in chunks. We say, okay, well, for this week or this month, I'm going to read about this subject. Or I'm going to read this particular book. And then we push ourselves. We keep going. And maybe we're getting bored with the book. We push through it. We keep going. Right? Because it's not so much about what you're reading, but how you're reading it and why, And if you're reading half a book and then throwing it away, that doesn't really speak well And I've got that problem. I have 20 books that are half read, and that's what I need to work on, right? At the same time, I'm working on trying to improve this, my goals that I have with the physical fitness, right? But I'm also trying to improve my reading goals, trying to get through a book and get to the end of it, and really retain what I'm reading and really be able to absorb it and make it a part of me, to assimilate that. Well, that's part of the efficiency of the Knight of Wands here in the position of your environment. I think that the slow and steady sort of routine that we're building up with the Princess of Wands, we're sort of ratcheting it up incrementally. I think eventually it becomes so automatic that we become like machines. We become efficient. We're able to do whatever we intend to do in a lot of different places. You've got a lot of skills, a lot of activities, a lot of work that you do, a lot of things that you're into, a lot of things that you love. Sometimes we have to figure out what we love the most, and that's what we're giving our attention to primarily. Right? It's difficult to really be great at 10 things at the same time, so maybe we have to prioritize. What do you want to be great at? What do you really work? What do you love the most? What is that important to you? And, maybe we reach a certain level, a certain height, a certain peak, and we say, okay, I'm fine with this at this level. I'm going to keep maintaining it. I'm going to keep trying to improve on it and stuff. But now my real love is over here somewhere else. Okay? It could be that. But I kind of feel as if we're picking something, that there is this infinite potential that we have. And we've got to keep going toward it, and we have to kind of stick with something even through all those failures. It has to be an intentional choice when you say, okay, I'm going to pursue another mountain, a different mountain now. And that doesn't really matter, right? If we're changing the mountains, though, because we're tired or we're bored or we're quitting, we're giving up, that's not good. But if we're switching to a different mountain because we are satisfied truly with what we've achieved over here, and it's a conscious choice that says, I want to go conquer another part of the world here. That is positive because we've learned such great skills already climbing this mountain that I could take those skills and now climb this mountain, even though it's maybe diametrically opposed to the other mountain, right? It's a complete different thing, Anyway, I feel like you really are conquering the world here. I think this is extraordinary. I want to look at our mystery card. We talked about our Seven of Pentacles. We talked about our Chariot. And the Chariot really is your ability to go anywhere and do anything. Whatever mountain you want to climb, this is how you climb it. Sort of one peak at a time, And we're incrementally increasing the intensity or the duration of something until we are truly satisfied with it. And maybe this is the thing that you want to do for the rest of your life. Maybe you want to achieve a certain kind of greatness. It's not time for you to slow down with this yet. There will be a time where you say, okay, I've achieved enough and I'm satisfied. I want to devote my life to something else. Okay, but that has to be a willed, intentional, and inspired choice, not just because I'm tired, not just because I want to quit. You cannot quit when you meet with failure. You can only quit or choose to do something else after you win. You don't have to keep winning if you don't want, but if you are failing and then you say, okay, well, I guess I don't want to do this anymore. No. You're only allowed to say that when you've achieved this and you've conquered this, you've pushed yourself and you are satisfied with what you've achieved. And you say, okay, now I'm giving myself permission to do something else. Okay? And I feel like that's your energy right now. I feel like you are that motivated. I want to look at our mystery card. Maybe the water energy. Maybe this is, really Spirit's way of saying that, look, you've achieved something extraordinary, and now you're giving yourself permission to, to climb a different mountain, to devote your life to something new, right? So maybe this will be some water energy. Maybe it'll be yet another Two of Wands. If you have a prediction, though, put it in the comments down below. Let's see. Knight of Wands. It's another one of these. This could be the idea that we're going to keep going, in this direction, right? But I wonder if this sort of means that we're trusting now that it's time that we can choose to devote ourselves to something new and have this same kind of enthusiasm and ambition and drive to climb that mountain and achieve greatness over there too, right? It's not necessarily two wills going in different directions. Both of these knights and both of these horses are going in the same direction. Very interesting that we get a repeat of this card. This is really like we're trusting in our impulses. We're trusting in what we're capable of. We are charging into battle with no reservations, with no hesitations, right? And then we get an echo of this card. So I think regardless, if you're going to continue climbing the same mountain and you want to keep making more and more and higher achievements, or if you're saying, I'm satisfied with this, I want to start working on, I'm going to devote my life over here to this mountain, whichever way, I think you're doing it with full commitment, full trust, and you believe in yourself, and you've created this relationship between your heart, your mind, your body, and your will that you're unstoppable. And the idea here is that whatever you pursue, if you pursue it in this manner, you will achieve as much as you want to achieve. That's the fact. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do an extended reading. I hope you will stick around. We're going to do a hexagram from the I Ching. We're going to do some oracle cards. There's a link up top. There is a link down below. New readings for Gemini Monday and Friday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.